Hey everyone, and welcome to Back to Business. I'm Sarah Pateo, your host. On this episode, we're hearing from another one of our internal employees here at Wing Lake Capital Partners to see how far they've come here in their job. Today we have Greg Nelson. Greg, how are we doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy you were able to clear some time in your busy schedule to be on the show today.
Definitely anything for this.
Anything for Wing Lake, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. So, speaking of your busy schedule, what is your role at Wing Lake?
So I work in the underwriting group, kind of wear a lot of different hats, but primarily underwriting new loans and looking at different investments, as well as I do a little bit of portfolio management, reporting work, and also work on a few active accounts and do active management, monitoring companies as well as assisting and advising and turning them around and making them healthy again.
Wow. I'm tired just hearing the long list of duties that you have over at Wing Lake. It sounds like a lot of hats might be an understatement. You wear all of the hats.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure you have your favorite hats and then some that, you wish you didn't have to put on as often as you do, but it sounds like with that many different roles and responsibilities, you're probably not having any 2 days the same. So that can be
Yeah,
nice.
definitely. I think that's one of the benefits is that you don't walk in. It's not like a 9 to 5 where you walk in, you punch your card and you get your items done Monday through Friday, and then next week repeat. It's something new every day, so it's interesting. You're always learning, and it keeps you sharp and stay on your toes.
For sure. Speaking of punching a time card, have you ever actually had a job where you had to do that? You walk in,
I have
punch your
not.
time card.
No.
Never. All right. Did you ever have to fill one in? Like, have you ever had a physical time card?
I never had a physical time card when I was younger. I was more along the lines of trying to find a job that suited my schedule, so never really went with one of those.
Got it. Got
But
it. Okay.
in my past roles, we had to do weekly billing of time, that sort of stuff. So a little bit different.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I'm always, obviously people have like lifeguard jobs when they're younger or they work at a grocery store or restaurant, whatever. But the punching of the time card, I feel like it would be very satisfying most of the
So
time.
you've
But
never had it either. You've never had that either.
I had to fill one in. My first job, I worked at a restaurant. I always had to fill one out, but we didn't have an actual punch thing on the wall. But I think people still use those. I don't think they're obsolete at this point. I don't think they've
I
fallen
don't
to the.
think so.
Anyways, just thought we could maybe find out something fun about you, but turns out you've never punched an actual time card.
No, unfortunately.
So why don't we go back to just some basic information? Where did you go to college?
I went to Michigan State University. I was in the business college at Broad College of Business. Graduated in 2017.
Oh, very nice. Okay, go green.
All right, go white.
Okay, and what did you major in when you went to Michigan State? You said you were in the business school.
Yep. So I majored in finance and got a minor in economics as well.
Do you feel that your role currently with Wing Lake, you're applying a lot of what you learned in college?
I would say it's pretty heavy on the finance side. A lot of applicable things. I think that many people find that their college degrees don't necessarily correlate with what they're doing, but I find a lot of things that do apply. On the economic side, not so much, but there's underlying concepts that you subconsciously apply, I believe,
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like economics, just having a good base knowledge in that is just good for everyday life too.
without a doubt.
Yeah, so very worthwhile. That's cool. Yeah, a lot of people talk about, well, what'd you major in and what are you doing today? And a lot of times they don't align. So it's nice that you can say that a lot of what you learn in college is playing out for you in everyday life now.
Definitely.
So tell me a little bit about, obviously you went to school, graduated in 2017. What was your career path leading up to Wing Lake?
Yeah, so in undergrad, I always knew I wanted to do finance, accounting, things like that, business, and interned in a lot of different things. Did wealth management, real estate work, investment banking work, kind of all over the board. And after graduation, I went over to PricewaterhouseCoopers and Worked in their transaction advisory group, working on mergers and acquisitions and kind of support work for that. A lot of valuation work, pre and post deal, valuing different businesses, both large and small. So, did a lot of in-depth business analysis, and after that was looking for something a bit more dynamic. Wanted to get more involved in actual deal work, more tangible work with companies, seeing real time effects of that. And I think I wasn't necessarily looking for what we do in particular, but just through the way things happen, it just kind of fell in my lap, and it seemed like a great fit. And everything's been great here. It's very fast paced, which is fun. Never a dull moment. That's for sure. Always exciting work. Really learning a lot. And like we previously talked about, it's just every day is different, and you really have no idea what you're walking into every day. So every morning, it's not anything can happen, literally anything. So.
Yes, for sure. And I see from experience, there's a lot of fires that need to be put out from time to time. Never planned for
Every
those.
day. Every day.
Yes. Yeah, every day. Yeah. So it sounds like a lot, but it sounds like what you did with PwC was maybe a good precursor to what you're doing now. Maybe a little bit of overlap in the roles, high level.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of public accounting work is a great place to start careers, and start there, and a lot of people stick with it for their lifetime. I think for me it was a great place to start. I'm happy I started there. A lot of great basic skill sets learned there, and I think that's what helped me to get to where I am today.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. No regrets so far.
No regrets.
Very cool. So tell me about your favorite thing that you do for Wing Lake. So obviously working on a lot of different types of things overall, new deals, working with all these different business owners, things like that. What is your favorite thing that you get to do in your job?
Yeah, so I think my favorite part would be kind of the underwriting aspect of this. Um, Talking to all new companies, learning about, different industries and products that you weren't necessarily aware of. A lot of niche companies out there. And I think, learning, seeing where they are when you start, and, kind of the troubles they may be facing. And then, through the process of closing the loan, just seeing the relief that a lot of these owners of these companies have, and especially kind of freeing them financially from where they were at previously. I think that's probably my favorite part about what we do, is just kind of the satisfaction that you were able to help a company, and that you're going to be able to further benefit them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a silver lining for the most part when we're working on different files with different companies. And I'd say 100% of the time, the ones that we're funding, they're coming out in a better place and hopefully becoming more profitable in the long run and just better businesses in the long run. So you mentioned, and I was going to ask you, you hear about different industries. What's maybe the most surprising industry, funded or not funded, that's come across your desk that you've been like, I didn't even know that existed, that was a thing? Have there been any instances like that?
Um, I guess none of them are necessarily, complete shocks, or ones that just came out of the woodwork that just, you never thought it would ever exist. I think it's more of, once you hear about it, it's like, oh, I'm not surprised it exists. I guess I haven't thought about something like that in a while, but I think more so it's finding unique spins on different industries. So whether it be, a traditional car dealership, but maybe they have a unique product offering, or they found a unique way to procure cars, or offer financing for vehicles, or kind of things of that nature. I think it's more just nuances and service offerings that they have. So it's not necessarily the business as a whole is very new and unheard of. It's the way that they go about doing business is very interesting, and everyone's got it differently.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's still time though. There might be an industry that pops out that no one knew that it existed. We didn't know there was a need for it. I feel like I've seen some throughout the years.
Without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, you've probably seen way more than we have, right? I mean, you're on hundreds of calls a week.
Yeah, you see all like the good ones, the verifiable ones. I see everything. So You see the filtered out better options. I'll have to think about some weird ones that we've seen before. But yeah, you're right. I mean, nothing so far that's been like, that exists in our world. What? It's an alien
Yeah.
business. Okay, cool. So do you think in terms of the role that you do, there's a some type of personality type that wouldn't be well suited for this industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone operates differently, and I think with this in particular, it's right. It's fast paced, and it's not a 9 to 5. It's varying hours. I think it's really you need to be flexible. You need to be willing to kind of you know be put your feet to the fire sometimes, as well as be thrown in situations that you're maybe not be comfortable with or new to you. So I think it's just kind of you have to be open to new uh, new tasks, things you haven't done, as well as work as many hours as needed, or kind of go above and beyond the traditional job, I would say. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for the if you're looking to leave at 5 p.m. and hit the punch card, unfortunately, I don't think this is that.
Yeah, the punch outs would be crazy. You punch out when you actually leave, and then, you punch back in when you're back home on your computer doing some more work later on. You'd have a lot of punch
Exactly.
punch out every week. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think that's a really good point. Flexibility is key in this industry. I think that, there's people work at all different times. We work with people across all different time zones. We work with people who are, not available Monday through Friday. Maybe they get their work done Saturday and that's when they can get on calls and do whatever late at night. I know we've had a couple, at least 10, 11 o'clock calls that we've been on at the same time, which is way past my bedtime, but you do what you got to do.
Exactly, right. I think lately we've been doing a lot of deals on the West Coast, so need to be willing to stay up pretty late for those. I know that a few of us find ourselves working well into the night, but like you said, you got to do what you got to do.
Yes, for sure. You grow and adapt.
Yeah.
So one last question for you today. What motivates you to get up in the morning and go to work? After you've had an 11 o'clock late night call with people on the West Coast and you're exhausted, what gets you, excited to get up and do the work that you do every day?
Yeah, I think it's kind of as I previously mentioned, it's you're walking into something new, so it's not like not that we dread anything, but it's not like you have a set list of your items for the day, and it's just okay. Let me just I guess there's nothing that exciting. I'll just get through these as fast as I can and get out of here. Right? It's it's the excitement of you don't know what's going to happen, and although you might not be working on a certain project, but if someone next door is working on something, you might be pulled into it. So I think it's kind of the camaraderie of the office, as well as the complexity and uniqueness of everything we do day to day.
Yeah, for sure. Great answer. And yeah, now that we're all coming back to office, it makes it maybe a little bit more exciting to get to see
Exactly,
people, have that office culture back and, talking in the hallways. So fun. Miss
without a
that.
doubt. Yeah, water cooler time.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking some time to be on the podcast today. We appreciate it. And I know everyone's going to be really excited to watch and listen.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. See you.